Hey, Happy New Year. Welcome to Metal Sharpens Metal. My name is Daniel. Today we have the song Avalanche by the band The Ghost Inside. You might be saying, hey, wait, they just came out with a new song. Why not do that one? This song is cool, and I don't have to say much more than that. One thing you'll notice right away, this is a live video. There are a couple important reasons for that. One is because it sounds great. The audio quality is perfect, and they play their instruments really well. The original will be linked in the description if you want to check that out. I'll get into the second reason later, but yeah, just know that this is an awesome song. It really encapsulates the band as a whole, and I hope you enjoy it. So let's check it out. Just first of all, look how many people are here. This is an insane show, and again, there's a good reason for that.
I can't stop screaming these words over again until breath escape and my chest caves in.
Every single person knows the words.
Can't give in and shut down. Just breathe in and breathe in and breathe in. I shook the hands of death so I could sever the line that he spits from his mouth. And now
The song had probably been out 5 years by this point.
with or without you, Los Angeles, we're back.
Whoa.
I've been here one time, two times, and three times before. Long enough not to wait around for that knock upon my door. I'm doing it.
He can barely scream. He's so happy with that big smile. Man. Such a good chorus. The guitars are so heavy. So many chills. The crowd really carries the bridge here. Got a classic hardcore breakdown at the end. So good. I hope you could make out the melody and the bridge there at the end that the crowd was singing. If you didn't quite catch it, check out the original that I have linked. It's so good. I could probably just, you know, like bear hug a tree and just like rip it out of the ground when I hear that. It gets me so amped up. This song has all the good components of a great TGI song. It's got that chant at the beginning, super fast verses, and the chorus with like the two-step groove, and then just a huge bridge to close it out. It's a great song. I love the structure. I love how this band writes music. So I wanted to start my TED Talk today with discussing kind of how I discovered the band. So I first heard their album Fury and the Fallen Ones when it first came out, somewhere around then, and I really liked it. I thought it was heavy, it was cool, it was like melodic hardcore. At the time, I was digging another band similar in style called For the Fallen Dreams. They were also just awesome, heavy, melodic, hardcore, metalcore band. Made me feel like my biceps had biceps when I was listening to them. I was just loving it. I like to play songs along to some of their drums at the time when I was kind of teaching myself and learning and stuff. So when the drummer of For the Fallen Dreams, whose name is Andrew, when he left that band, he went to join the Ghost Inside, and I paid attention because I wanted to follow his work more. At that time, I wasn't as excited about their album Returners that had come out. It just didn't hook me as much. So I'd kind of stopped listening to TGI for a couple years. But the record after Andrew joined was this one. It's called Get What You Give. And it was, I thought, their best record to date. I was definitely hooked again. It was so good. I'm not saying that Andrew definitely made them write their best stuff ever, but have you ever seen Andrew and a bad TGI record in the same room at the same time? Yeah, I didn't think so. So fast forward a couple years, the band got in a horrible accident in their van while they were driving between shows. They lost their good friend in the wreck. Andrew, the drummer, lost his right leg below his knee, which in the case of most drummers would mean that their drumming career is totally over. But a few days after that, the band started to communicate with people. They were just grateful to be alive. They were very saddened by the loss of their friend, obviously. As I started to post some of those messages to social media in the coming weeks, kind of detailing their recovery and getting out of the hospital and stuff, I started following Andrew because he was actually reteaching himself how to play drums without his right leg. He had this prosthetic that he attached, and you probably saw it in the music video, but he was able to use it and do double bass. So using his left foot on the bass pedal and the hi-hats, and using his right leg on the bass pedal. And he relearned all his old songs. He got just as good as ever. He went through a lot of struggles to get to that point, it sounds like, but yeah, he did it.
And that is how it's done.
So they were still driven to be a band in some capacity, but they hadn't committed to making any new music or anything like that. Fast forward a couple more years, and they decided to do this comeback show that we just watched that song from. And they put out a live album and all that stuff. But yeah, it was very emotional for all the people there that you saw because, one of their favorite bands had nearly been killed. And now here they were putting music back on a big stage, which is really cool. I even read that they had to move the venue from inside to outside. So they took up some city park or something to make room for all those people. Pretty awesome. So they're a very motivated and motivating band. That's very clear to see. Their lead vocalist is Jonathan Vigil, and I think his vocals are just some of the most intense, iconic. He has just such a good yell for hardcore and metalcore like this, that there are several bands who I think often try to emulate his style and straight up copy his sound at times. With his last name of Vigil, he actually really lives up to his namesake when it comes to his lyrical content. He's not a Christian, but I think he writes some things that all people, and Christians included, can benefit from and be encouraged by. There's a lot of similarities between these guys and No Bragging Rights, I think, in terms of their style and how they do things. So refer back to that video if you want kind of another angle on this subject. To summarize the song meaning, it's about pushing forward, doing what's right, even in the sake of adversity and downright opposition. So now you understand the main reason why I picked this song for this band, even though they have newer stuff out. So let's start checking out a few lyrics here. We've got can't give in and shut down, just breathe in and breathe out and begin. I think that's a great reminder of what's at stake. It's a simple but effective antidote to procrastination. Sometimes all it takes is that intentional breath in and release before you can stand up and start doing the things that need to be done. So he says some interesting things here, talking to a personified doubt. He says he shook the hand of doubt and he is staring at the face of doubt. And I think that that's partly so he can remind himself what he's fighting against. And I like the question here at the end of this first verse too. Why put in my all just to watch my buildings fall? He's clearly putting in a lot of effort and he wants to see that work completed.
You have no idea how high I can fly.
And I think it's a good reminder for us. We shouldn't forget the work that we've accomplished and the work that went into the things that we've done. Especially if it was worthwhile according to God's standards, according to his word, then we know it wasn't done in vain. Now, this chorus is super powerful. You got those gang yells with the hey, hey, and the crowd is mostly doing those. That just gets me amped up. I'm like a caveman. I've got a simple brain. I hear big noise. I say big feel. And so yeah, I'm a self-proclaimed sucker for that stuff. I will admit it. And like I said, they had that big open note just at the beginning of each chorus. Between that and the drum beat, it felt really heavy, but really fast at the same time, which is not usually something that always goes together like that. So yeah, hats off to these guys for the mix. And the lyrics are those of determination, clearly. I'm living for today. I don't think that means he's like living short-sighted or anything, but he's in the moment. He's doing the things that need to be done. He's not dwelling on the past. He's not worrying about the future. He's here in the present, and he's pushing forward. The second half of the verse gets like a little bit, arrogant in a way, where he says, nothing stands in my way. And then he even goes so far as to say, time stopped when I broke the chains that bound me. Now, I get the desire to be positive when you're trying to be positive, right? But the problem is we're imperfect creatures. We've sinned against a holy God, and even our best efforts are not enough to please him. And we cannot break our own chains of sin and doubt. That's something that we analyzed in the Northlane song, Quantum Flux, where he kept yelling, set me free. And there's only one way to be set free. You know, as a Christian, what I'm going to say, but it's true. Only Jesus can finally break those chains of sin and failure. We may make some progress in our lives and even think that it was our hard work that got us there all by ourselves. But there are certain chains that we cannot break no matter how hard we try and how determined we think we are. And I think if people are honest with themselves, you'll recognize, like, yeah, I can never make myself perfect just by trying hard enough. Because even in the next verse, Jonathan says he wants something to believe in that'll never go wrong, basically that'll never let him down. And yeah, again, as a Christian, you know what my answer is going to be.
Bleeding hearts of the world unite!
He needs to follow the Lord to experience anything even remotely close to this. So skipping ahead to that incredible singing bridge, there's certain ways that you can hook my caveman brain again, just like instantaneously, and having a big, really good chord progression with, kind of wide open drums, and just singing over the top. In the recording, it sounds kind of like gang vocals. There's multiple vocal tracks going on. There's screams underneath the singing. It's just a big, powerful, anthemic thing. It gets my skin just goosebumps whenever I just think about it. So in here, we kind of see some indications that there's like a person that has been antagonizing or causing problems in Jonathan's life, because it says, you built a bomb inside my walls. I just kind of thought about this and made this connection, but I wonder if that you is referring to doubt, because that's like the only kind of singular personified person in the song other than Jonathan. And so I wonder if he's saying that doubt built a bomb inside my walls, like something that's ticking until it'll blow up and mess everything up in your life. Oh, and honestly, now that I think about it, the overhaul might be the bomb exploding, might be the avalanche, might be this song, was written before the accident, but, some big catastrophic thing in your life that causes an overhaul, causes a reinvention of yourself in a way. So yeah, there's a bomb that's ticking down until it blows up, and now there's an overhaul. Okay, I'm like convincing myself as I go that this is kind of what this part means. I don't know why. Until I said it out loud, it didn't really make sense in my head. But the other thing is, he is only referred to two people, maybe Doubt and himself, but then he says, we're caught in the avalanche. So is Doubt caught in the avalanche? Does that mean that the avalanche is a force to kind of destroy part of Jonathan's life, but it also kind of washes away the doubt in his life at the same time? If he uses the avalanche to his advantage, maybe he uses it as the positive driving force to push forward and uses that momentum and capitalizes on that. Either way, the ending makes it very clear that he is planning to push forward despite the setbacks. He wants to reset and rebuild. The avalanche, doubt, whatever that is, wrecked the city, but not my will. So he's still feeling determined and motivated to move forward and do those things. Now, with as inspirational as that is, the question that I'll keep asking these non-Christian bands is, why do you feel compelled to do these things? What is your foundation and driving force propelling you to do the right things, act the right way in your life?
Oh, come on, man. Believe in something.
Now, I am happy when people of any background, Christian, non-Christian, do the right thing in spite of hard circumstances. I think it's God's grace that we even can do those good things, and that he has allowed us to run the world and move it forward in this capacity without, totally wiping ourselves away in an avalanche of our own making. But the point I want to get across is that none of our efforts are good enough to absolve us of sin or please God. So one passage that came to mind with this was in 1 Corinthians 3 here. So this is Paul talking. He says, according to the grace of God given to me, like a skilled master builder, I laid a foundation, and someone else is building upon it. Let each one take care how he builds upon it. For no one can lay a foundation other than that which is laid, which is Jesus Christ. Now, if anyone builds on the foundation with gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, straw, each one's work will become manifest, for the day will disclose it, because it will be revealed by fire, and the fire will test what sort of work each one has done. If the work that anyone has built on the foundation survives, he will receive a reward. If anyone's work is burned up, he will suffer loss, though he himself will be saved, but only as through fire. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the YouTube channel called Backyard Scientist. If you haven't, you should go check him out. He's this young guy. He loves just setting things on fire and testing, what will burn at what level and how much heat it takes to do this and blowing things up. He's very funny. I think in much the same way, this passage points to our work being tested by God. He will test it with fire, and it will only survive if it's done in Christ through the Holy Spirit's working through us. So Paul said Jesus is the only foundation worth building on because everything else will fail eventually. That's the discussion Jesus says about the man who builds on the rock and the man who builds on the sand. But even if we build on that foundation, we still need to use the best materials, or else our work can be burned up when it's finally tested and revealed for what it is. So when I hear Jonathan talk about these things, he's wanting to do it in the right way. He's wanting to use gold and silver and precious metal, things that will last for generations and stand. But I want him to first check his foundation, because even if he thinks he's building with those quality materials, he's still building it on a foundation of sand if he's outside of Christ. That is where we can find a true legacy for our work to rest on. If it's on sand, it's just going to crumble away. So the building in the song is ultimately going to fall, even though Jonathan said he gave it his all. So what an appropriate song to kick off the new year and kind of push you forward and motivate you. You know, I'm not one for New Year's resolutions per se, because I think if it's important enough to do it, you should do it right away. You don't need to wait for the first of the year. However, I do appreciate having a time where people can encourage each other and motivate and push each other on to good works. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that song. I hope it pumped you up as much as it did for me, and we will see you on the next one. Bye.
No, no, no.